Did you know that Neptune was discovered using math? Neptune is the only planet whose existence was predicted through mathematical calculations before it was seen through a telescope. In the 19th century, astronomers noticed that Uranus's orbit didn't match expectations, and they hypothesized that this was caused by the gravitational pull of an unknown planet. After calculations and extensive observation, Neptune was discovered, marking a triumph of science. This fact shows how powerful math is. It helped discover an entire planet long before it could be seen. Have you ever wondered when to drink water? Water isn't just a thirst quencher. The timing of when you sip it can significantly boost your health. Starting your day with a glass of water is like giving your body a wake-up call. This morning ritual activates your internal organs, kickstarting your metabolism after hours of rest. Then think about the simple act of drinking water before meals. It's not just a good habit. It helps with digestion by preparing your stomach for the food you're about to enjoy, which can prevent overeating too. Now let's talk about winding down. Drinking water before bed might sound like a risky move if you're worried about midnight bathroom trips, but it can actually be beneficial. It helps to keep your heart healthy and reduces the risk of heart attacks during the night. So, make it a point to drink water at these key times: morning, before meals, and before hitting the hay. It's amazing what a little timing can do for your overall health. Believe it or not, a tiger's roar can freeze its prey. Tigers don't just roar to be scary, they weaponize sound. Their roars include infrasound frequencies below the range of human hearing, which can travel over 3 kilometers and physically affect the animals that hear them. These vibrations resonate inside the prey's body, inducing a stunned, frozen reaction that some scientists describe as a kind of temporary paralysis. Unlike normal fear, this physiological response slows motor functions and clouds judgment, just long enough for the tiger to close in for the kill. Researchers believe the sound may interfere with brainwave patterns or trigger a panic reflex that immobilizes the animal. Nature has effectively given tigers a long-distance stun gun. It's an evolutionary superpower that dramatically increases their hunting success. Hell freezes over every year. Believe it or not, there's a town in Norway called Hell, and it literally freezes over every winter. This is not a joke, it's a real place on the map. And although the town is quite small, it attracts tourists every year thanks to its unusual name. Due to Norway's cold climate, Hell is covered in ice and snow every winter, often sparking jokes. "When hell freezes over" is a phrase that is rather common for the residents of this town. So if you want to see hell for yourself, head to Norway in the winter and watch it freeze over. Cleopatra. Closer to us than to the pyramids. Cleopatra, the famous Egyptian queen, lived closer in time to us than to the construction of the pyramids. Her reign ended in 30 BC, while the Great Pyramids of Giza were built around 2600 BC. It's mind-blowing to think that Cleopatra is closer in time to the modern world than to those ancient wonders she could have seen in her Egypt. This is a vivid reminder of how history can challenge our perception of time. Surprisingly, ancient mirrors were actually dangerous. Early mirrors were made from metals like copper or bronze, which could create blinding reflections and even accidental fires. In Roman times, convex mirrors that concentrated sunlight were popular, much like magnifying glasses. This made them both dangerous and expensive, accessible only to the wealthiest. Modern mirrors are safe, but ancient ones still hold a bit of magic and danger within them. Who knew? A group of pugs is called a grumble. Pugs are already beloved for their cute and quirky personalities. But did you know that a group of pugs is called a grumble? This charming term perfectly suits their adorable and sometimes noisy nature. When several pugs gather, it's a delightful sight and sound, a small grumble of little doggy characters, bringing joy and humor to any scene. Imagine a cobra warning you with a scent before striking. When a cobra spreads its iconic hood, it's not just for show, it's part of a multi-layered defense system. The dramatic display makes the snake appear larger and more menacing. But some species go even further. They secrete pheromone-rich saliva to signal territory or attract mates. And if that doesn't work, spitting cobras can eject venom up to 1.8 meters away, aiming for the eyes to cause temporary blindness and severe pain. This venom isn't just toxic, it's a precision chemical weapon. The cobra's combination of bluff, chemical warning, and physical defense makes it one of nature's most sophisticated survivalists. No other snake combines these tactics with such chilling elegance. Caffeine. Energy or illusion? Caffeine is the most popular psychoactive substance in the world, but it doesn't actually give you energy. Instead, it blocks adenosine receptors in the brain, preventing them from signaling tiredness. It's a kind of trick that makes your brain feel alert and awake. What's even more fascinating is that caffeine's molecular structure is very similar to that of adenosine, allowing it to take the place of this neurotransmitter. This clever process helps us wake up in the morning and stay alert throughout the day. Now imagine, it's all just a game of chemistry. Discover Kmar's unique blend of cultures and history. This charming town in northeastern France is a treasure trove of cultural heritage, reflecting a fascinating history of German and French influence. Kmar, often considered the capital of Alsace, has changed hands between these two nations several times over the centuries, and this rich past is clearly visible in its stunning architecture. Take a stroll through its cobblestone streets and you'll marvel at the Gothic St. Martin's Church, with its intricate facade and towering spire, a striking reminder of its medieval roots. Just around the corner, the Renaissance-style Maison Pfister stands out with its colorful wooden beams and beautifully decorated facade, showcasing the artistic flair that characterized the Renaissance period. This unique blend of styles tells the story of a town that has embraced its diverse heritage and made it part of its identity. Visitors are not just walking through streets, they're navigating a living history where every building and alley has a story to tell, making Kmar a truly enchanting destination. Leica, the first star among space dogs. In 1957, a small Moscow stray named Leica became a true hero when she launched into space aboard Sputnik 2. Leica was the first living being to orbit the Earth, proving that life could survive in zero gravity. Her mission was a key part of the Soviet space program, which paved the way for future space exploration. Though Leica's return to Earth was not planned, her bravery inspired a generation of scientists and marked an important step toward conquering the cosmos. Leica remains a symbol of courage and sacrifice for the sake of progress. How would you react if you learned that the national motto of the USA is "God helps"? This might be surprising, especially in a country where there is no official state religion and freedom of worship is encouraged. The USA is a nation where everyone can choose their own faith, and the government does not interfere in these personal matters. Interestingly, the dollar is not just a currency, but a true icon of the global economy. Its printing is handled by only 12 banks, and the paper for the banknotes is produced by a single company, highlighting the significance of this currency on the world stage. Did you know BMWs Car Journey started after WWI? The story of BMW isn't just about luxury vehicles. It begins in the aftermath of World War I, when Germany faced severe economic challenges due to the Treaty of Versailles. This treaty placed heavy reparations on Germany, leading many companies to pivot and adapt to survive. BMW, originally a producer of aircraft engines, shifted gears and entered the automotive industry in 1923, launching its very first car, the BMW 315 PS. This model showcased the brand's commitment to performance and quality. With a powerful engine and a sleek design, it caught the attention of driving enthusiasts and set the stage for BMW's long-standing reputation for engineering excellence. As the company navigated the tough economic landscape, it blended innovation with necessity, evolving from an aircraft manufacturer to one of the most recognized names in the automotive world. Today, BMW is celebrated not just for its cars, but for a rich history that reflects resilience and creativity in the face of adversity. Have you ever thought about how whales sing underwater? Whales produce sounds that can be heard hundreds of kilometers away underwater. These sounds help them communicate and find mates, even across vast distances. Whale songs can last for hours, and each one is unique, like a fingerprint. These songs change over the years, making them not just a means of communication, but also a form of cultural heritage passed down through generations. Did you know the largest diamond in the world weighed more than 3,000 carats? The Cullinan diamond, found in 1905 in South Africa, is the largest diamond ever discovered. It weighed a staggering 3,160 carats. This unique gem was divided into several pieces, some of which adorn the British royal regalia. This diamond is a true wonder of nature, and its size is simply breathtaking. Did you know offices used to be so different? The action office system, created in the 1960s, really shook things up in how we think about office spaces. Before this revolution, offices were often lined with rigid cubicles, fostering isolation and limiting creativity. But the action office system introduced a flexible, open layout that encouraged people to interact and collaborate. Imagine desks that could be rearranged, community spaces for brainstorming, and the freedom to personalize your work area. This shift helped to break down barriers, allowing for more communication and innovation among coworkers. Such an environment boosted creativity and made work feel less like a chore and more like a community effort. Today, many modern offices, with their trendy lounges and communal workspaces, owe a great deal to this groundbreaking system. The way we work and collaborate has evolved significantly, all thanks to a push for a more dynamic and engaging office atmosphere. So next time you step into an office that's buzzing with energy, think back to how far we've come since that era of stiff, solitary cubicles. Is it true that ancient Egyptians used crocodile dung as a contraceptive? Yes, it's true. Around 2,000 years before Christ, women in ancient Egypt used crocodile dung as a method to prevent pregnancy. They believed this method would block sperm from entering. While this might sound strange and even risky from a modern medical perspective, people back then sought any means of birth control. This historical fact shows just how far humanity has come in the development of medicine. Thanks to modern research, we now have much safer and more reliable methods of contraception. How would you react if you found out that Las Vegas is the brightest place on Earth, visible even from space? This city has become the unofficial capital of gambling and casinos. Interestingly, the legalization of casino operations in Nevada was aimed at boosting the state budget, which needed funds for building schools. As a result, Las Vegas has transformed into a true cultural phenomenon, with its bright lights symbolizing not only the city, but also the entire American dream associated with risk-taking and entertainment. Can you imagine a snowflake the size of a plate? In 1887, the largest snowflake ever recorded fell in Montana. It was 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick. That's the size of a dinner plate. Imagine being under such a snowstorm. This amazing event went down in meteorological history as the most unusual snow phenomenon. So next time you complain about the snow, think, it could have been much bigger and more impressive. Did you know Jamaica gave us reggae and the fastest man? This vibrant Caribbean island is famous not just for its stunning beaches and lush landscapes, but also as a cultural powerhouse. Jamaica is the birthplace of reggae music, a genre that blends rhythm, soul, and social commentary, famously brought to the world by the legendary Bob Marley. His songs, filled with messages of love and resilience, have made an indelible mark on music history, inspiring countless artists across the globe. But that's not all. Jamaica also proudly claims Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man and a sprinting legend. With his remarkable speed and charismatic personality, Bolt has won multiple Olympic gold medals and holds the world record for the 100-meter dash, clocking in at an astonishing 9.58 seconds. Together, Marley's and Bolt's legacies showcase Jamaica's rich contributions to the world of entertainment and sports. So next time you hear a reggae beat or catch a glimpse of a sprint event, remember the incredible talents that this small island has gifted us. Why do cat whiskers really resemble antennas? Whiskers, technically called vibrissae, are far more than decorative features on a cat's face. These thick, stiff hairs are deeply embedded in nerve-rich follicles, making them ultra-sensitive to touch, airflow, and vibration. Found not only on the muzzle but also above the eyes, on the jaw, and even on the paws, whiskers help cats navigate tight spaces, hunt in darkness, and judge distances before leaping. They detect air currents around objects, giving cats a kind of sixth sense that lets them see with touch. When stalking prey, whiskers track the slightest movements, helping cats pinpoint the exact location of a target. During a jump, they act like gyroscopic sensors, helping with last-second mid-air corrections. In essence, whiskers are natural motion detectors and navigation tools, biological radar systems that turn every cat into a precision-controlled predator. Ever wondered why highways need constant maintenance? Aging highway infrastructure, tricky weather conditions, and the constant flow of vehicles all play a big role in the need for ongoing maintenance of U.S. highways. Imagine driving on a bumpy road with potholes. It's not just uncomfortable, but it can be dangerous too. As time passes, highways experience wear and tear from heavy trucks and cars, which can cause cracks and other issues. Add in unpredictable weather, think rain, snow, and extreme heat, and it's easy to see how these factors speed up deterioration. This means that road crews are always busy patching up surfaces, repainting lines, and ensuring safety signs are visible. Regular maintenance not only helps to improve safety for drivers, but also extends the life of the highways, saving money in the long run. So when you hit the road and notice construction or repair, remember it's all about keeping our infrastructure safe and functional for everyone. Is it possible in the USA there is a river that flows underground for 1,000 kilometers? In the United States, under the Appalachians, lies a vast underground river system known as the Ogallala Aquifer. This subterranean river stretches for 1,000 kilometers, and its waters supply millions of people in the Midwest. Although it cannot be seen, it serves as an important source of drinking water for a huge area. Scientists warn that due to climate change and excessive water use, this unique river could dry up in the coming decades, making it even more mysterious and crucial for preservation. Ready to explore Russia's enchanting Valley of Geysers? This stunning natural wonder is not just a beautiful spot for sightseeing, it's a geyser hotspot, housing about 90% of all known geysers in the country. Nestled in the Kamchatka Peninsula, the valley offers an extraordinary landscape filled with steam and bubbling water, creating a dreamlike scene that feels otherworldly. You'll encounter thermal pools that shimmer in shades of turquoise, while fumaroles, emitting steam and gases, create a fascinating show of nature's power. The Valley of Geysers stretches over several kilometers, making it a great spot for hikers and adventurers. You can see eruptions of hot water shooting high into the air, with some geysers bursting every few minutes and others taking their time, sometimes resting for days. This unique geothermal activity is a result of volcanic activity in the region, highlighting the Earth's dynamic geology. So whether you're an avid nature lover or just curious about what makes our planet tick, the Valley of Geysers is an exciting reminder of the incredible forces at play just beneath our feet. Here's what's hidden in snail mucus. It acts as a signal. A snail's trail is more than just slippery slime. It's a rich communication system and multifunctional tool. The mucus acts as a lubricant, allowing snails to glide over rough terrain without injury and stick to vertical surfaces like walls or tree trunks. But more fascinatingly, snails embed chemical cues in the slime to guide others. These cues can signal paths to food or indicate readiness to mate. Other snails detect these pheromones and follow the trail like reading an invisible message. In tough environments, snails may even overwrite trails with conflicting signals to confuse competitors or predators. Mucus also conserves moisture, preventing dehydration in hot or dry climates. This humble substance functions as GPS, armor, and social media, all in one sticky package. Evolution turned mucus from mere waste into a brilliant tool of survival and coordination. Cows have a phenomenal sense of smell. Cows can boast an extraordinary sense of smell, capable of detecting scents from up to 6 million meters away. This means a cow can sniff out fresh grass or a water source from miles away. This sensitivity helps cows navigate their surroundings, find food, and avoid danger. But their sense of smell isn't just about finding food. It also helps them recognize their calves and even other herd members. This ability underscores how important the world of sense is to them and how closely they are connected to the natural environment. Can you imagine that the world's oldest color is pink? In 2018, scientists discovered the oldest known color on Earth, and it's pink. Extracted from billion-year-old rocks in the Sahara Desert, this pink pigment was created by ancient ocean-dwelling bacteria. These bacteria lived long before animals existed, making pink the oldest biological color. The discovery adds a colorful twist to our understanding of life's early history. Did you know Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky? When you look up at the night sky, you probably notice a bright star shining more brilliantly than all the others. That's Sirius, also known as the dog star. Located in the constellation Canis Major, Sirius has a magnitude of -1.46, making it the brightest star visible from Earth. Although it seems close, Sirius is about 8.6 light-years away, adding a sense of mystery and wonder to the night sky. Did you know that earthquakes also happen on the moon? Yes, indeed. The moon experiences its own kind of tremors, known as moonquakes. These shakes can be caused by Earth's gravitational pull, meteor impacts, or tidal forces, and they can last for up to an hour. Surprisingly, moonquakes can reach magnitudes of up to 5.5 on the Richter scale. Just imagine, the moon, our constant celestial companion, reacts to Earth's gravitational pull as if dancing in space alongside our planet. This shows that the moon is more alive and dynamic than we might think. Imagine for a moment. The Sahara Desert is the largest desert on Earth. The Sahara Desert is not just a desert, it's a giant oven. Covering over 9 million square kilometers, it is the largest hot desert in the world. It spans much of North Africa, covering an area roughly the size of China or the United States. Temperatures in the Sahara can soar up to 58 degrees Celsius, about 136 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the hottest places on Earth. Imagine for a moment that chimpanzees communicate almost like us. Chimpanzees use a rich combination of vocal sounds, gestures, facial expressions, and body language to interact. Their vocalizations include over 30 distinct calls, from food alerts to alarm cries, and even soft coos for reassurance. Each group of chimps has its own dialect, specific patterns of sounds and gestures passed culturally from adult to young. Chimpanzees also gesture with intention. A hand wave, foot stamp, or chest beat can convey urgency, dominance, or invitation. In labs, some chimps have even learned to understand hundreds of human words and symbols, showing the capacity for abstract communication. These apes don't just mimic, they adapt, teach, and express emotions, ideas, and even plans. The similarities between chimp and human communication offer insights into the roots of language and the evolution of intelligence. Sperm whales, the loudest creatures on Earth. Sperm whales are underwater sound machines. They produce clicks and vocalizations that can reach up to 230 decibels. That's several times louder than a jet engine. These sounds help sperm whales communicate over vast distances and navigate the ocean depths. They use them like sonar to hunt giant squid at depths of over 1,000 meters. These clicks are so powerful that they can even stun their prey from a distance. Imagine if humans had similar abilities. We could communicate across entire oceans. How much do you think the world's most expensive pizza costs? In 2007, Scottish chef Domenico Crolla created the Royal Zero Roast 7 pizza, priced at a staggering $4,200. This gourmet pizza was topped with luxurious ingredients like edible gold flakes, caviar, smoked salmon, and venison marinated in champagne. It was auctioned off for charity, making it a culinary masterpiece worth its weight in gold. Now that's a slice of royal extravagance. Did you know that Hawaii is home to the tallest mountain peak in the world? Although Mount Everest is the highest point on land, when considering the underwater portion of the Mauna Kea volcano, it is 1.9 kilometers taller. Mauna Kea is a submarine volcano that begins on the ocean floor and rises nearly 10 kilometers upwards. From its summit, there are breathtaking views, and this volcano is regarded not only as a geographical wonder, but also as sacred by the local Hawaiians. Mauna Kea attracts the attention of scientists and tourists from around the globe, as its grandeur inspires admiration and respect. Tiny plants, mighty power. Half of Earth's oxygen comes from the ocean. The oxygen we breathe is not only created by forests, but also by tiny marine organisms like plankton, algae, and seaweed. These little factories produce more than half of the planet's oxygen through photosynthesis. Thanks to sunlight, they transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is vital for all living beings on Earth. This amazing fact reminds us of the importance of the oceans and their role in sustaining life on our planet. Could sea urchins use their spines for more than defense? At first glance, a sea urchin looks like a slow-moving, spiky ball, but these sharp protrusions are far more versatile than they seem. Sea urchins use their spines for locomotion, gently nudging themselves along rocks or coral reefs while their tube feet provide suction and control. The spines also act as sensory tools, detecting shifts in water flow and nearby movement. Some species even carry pieces of shell or debris with their spines for camouflage or protection. In many tropical varieties, spines are tipped with venom capable of stunning small prey or deterring predators. And deep beneath the surface, the spines work as a defense, shield, and even a mobility aid, turning the urchin into a quiet but efficient ecosystem engineer. Beneath the armor is a living machine, maintaining coral balance, cleaning the seabed, and surviving in some of the harshest marine environments on Earth. You might be a descendant of Genghis Khan. In 2003, scientists conducted a study that revealed that about 16 million men worldwide share a common Y chromosome with Genghis Khan. This means that approximately 1 in 200 men is a direct descendant of this famous conqueror. Genghis Khan and his descendants left a significant genetic legacy across the vast regions he conquered. Although this study focuses on the paternal line, it shows just how intertwined history and genetics can be. Why did Finland create hedgehog robots for cleaning parks? In Tampere, one of Finland's most eco-conscious cities, robots that look like hedgehogs were invented to collect litter in parks. These adorable devices are equipped with sensors that help them locate and pick up trash. The hedgehog robots not only help keep the parks clean, but also bring joy to park visitors who can watch the little robots at work. Throw an apple. Declare your love. The romance of ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, throwing an apple at someone was a symbol of love. This gesture meant a declaration of love and was equivalent to a marriage proposal. The apple was associated with the goddess Aphrodite, which added even more romantic meaning to the action. If the person caught the thrown apple, it meant they accepted the feelings. Modern life may not have such gestures, but this fact shows how much cultural norms have changed over time. Is it possible in Tokyo there is an inverted tower that goes more than 60 floors underground? The Japanese are known for their engineering ingenuity, and the inverted tower project is one of the most ambitious. This tower, unlike traditional skyscrapers, goes deep underground instead of soaring into the sky. Built in the dense urban landscape, it is an innovative solution for creating new office and living spaces in a land-scarce environment. Imagine walking down the street and below you, there's a whole underground city. Ban on cars on Machinak Island. How horses defeated cars. Imagine an island where cars have been banned since the late 19th century. Machinak Island in Michigan became a place where, in 1898, automobiles were completely banned because they frightened horses, the primary mode of transport at the time. Amazingly, this ban remains in effect to this day. Now you can only get around the island by horse, bicycle, or on foot, and even deliveries are made with horse-drawn carts. Machinak Island is a unique place where you can enjoy quiet streets without the noise of cars. Could a cuckoo really deceive other birds? The cuckoo is a master manipulator of the avian world. Rather than build its own nest, it lays eggs in those of other bird species, a behavior known as brood parasitism. But this isn't a haphazard trick. The female cuckoo carefully selects a host whose eggs resemble her own, often mimicking the color, size, and speckle patterns with near-perfect accuracy. Once laid, the cuckoo chick usually hatches first and instinctively pushes the host's eggs or chicks out of the nest. The unsuspecting foster parents, driven by instinct, feed the fast-growing imposter without recognizing the deception. This frees the cuckoo from parental duties, allowing it to invest energy in laying more eggs across multiple nests. It's a strategy that requires cunning, precision, and evolutionary finesse. Proof that survival isn't always about brute strength, but sometimes about outsmarting your neighbors. Can you imagine a mole seeing with its nose? In the pitch-black tunnels of the underground, vision is useless. But for the star-nosed mole, that's no problem. This small, burrowing mammal has one of the most sensitive tactile organs in the animal kingdom. Surrounding its nostrils is a unique, star-shaped ring of 22 fleshy appendages, each packed with thousands of sensory receptors known as Eimer's organs. These structures allow the mole to process textures, vibrations, and temperature at lightning speed, so fast, in fact, that it can identify and consume prey in under 8 milliseconds. That's faster than human visual recognition. This extraordinary snout effectively replaces sight, acting as a touch-based radar system that maps the world in fine detail. The star-nosed mole doesn't just sniff out its surroundings, it scans them with precision unmatched in the mammalian world. Did you know that there are cities in the United States named after European capitals like Paris, Moscow, Berlin, and St. Petersburg? This is an interesting feature, as the early settlers in America often sought to bring parts of their native culture to the New World by naming places after the Old World. For instance, cities named Paris and Berlin in many U.S. states have become symbols of the old European traditions carried over to New America. Did you know that the giant anteater feeds with a tongue up to 2 feet long? With no teeth and a jaw that barely opens, the giant anteater seems ill-equipped for hunting, but evolution has equipped it with one of nature's most extraordinary feeding tools, a sticky whip-like tongue up to 60 centimeters long. Covered in backward-facing spines and saliva as thick as glue, this tongue darts in and out of termite mounds and ant nests up to 140 times per minute, slurping up to 30,000 insects in a single sitting. Its powerful claws rip through hardened nest walls, while its elongated skull and specialized muscles propel the tongue with lightning speed. Unlike most mammals, its digestion begins externally. Enzymes break down prey in the stomach, with the anteater's strong acids dissolving tough insect exoskeletons. It's a bizarre but brilliant system. No chewing, no biting, just pure suction efficiency in the fight against ant colonies. Have you ever wondered that there are underground oceans? Beneath the Earth's surface, there are massive water reservoirs, which could be called underground oceans. The volume of water in these reservoirs exceeds that of all the oceans, lakes, and rivers on the surface. These hidden waters are located hundreds of kilometers deep underground, and scientists are just beginning to understand their role in the planet's geological processes. Why is Louisiana really considered the most dangerous state in the USA? Louisiana, located in the southern part of the country, is considered the most dangerous state in the U.S. in terms of murder rates. This state suffers from a high level of violence, making it one of the most crime-ridden in the nation. In contrast, New Hampshire, situated in the northeastern U.S., is the safest state with minimal crime rates. The stark difference between these states highlights the significant disparities in crime across various regions of the U.S., largely influenced by social and economic factors. Could it really be that beavers build dams to success? Beavers are more than rodents. They're hydrological engineers. Using nothing but teeth, paws, mud, and instinct, they construct dams that alter entire ecosystems. These structures slow rivers, creating stillwater ponds where beavers build their lodges with underwater entrances, safe from predators. Their work forms wetlands that host frogs, fish, birds, and plants, boosting biodiversity and water purity. By trapping sediment and moderating flow, beaver dams reduce erosion and prevent downstream floods. Even during droughts, the ponds they create act as water reservoirs. Scientists now replicate beaver dam models in ecological restoration to stabilize water systems and reverse desertification. In this way, beavers are not only survivors, they're natural architects who leave behind flourishing communities of life, all built from sticks and mud. Did you know that animals can be allergic to humans? Believe it or not, allergies aren't just a human problem. Animals can suffer from them too. Some pets can develop allergies to human dander, just like we can be allergic to animal fur. This can cause symptoms such as breathing difficulties and skin irritation, much like the allergic reactions we experience. It's a surprising reminder that allergies don't discriminate between species, and even our beloved furry friends can be sensitive to us. How did London almost start growing pineapples in the middle of winter? In the 17th century, the English wanted pineapples so much that they started building special greenhouses to grow them. These greenhouses, called pineapple houses, were heated with coal, and it could take up to 2 years to grow a single pineapple. Considering that pineapples were a true rarity back then, they were given as royal gifts, symbolizing luxury and status. What if Darth Vader's voice could live forever? In a surprising twist, the legendary James Earl Jones, the voice behind one of cinema's most iconic villains, has officially retired from voicing Darth Vader since 2022. His deep, resonant tones shape the character we all know and love in legendary films like the original Star Wars trilogy. However, fans need not worry about losing the Dark Lord's menacing presence. Lucasfilm has decided to use archival recordings of Jones's voice combined with cutting-edge AI technology to keep Darth Vader alive in upcoming projects. This innovative approach means that even with Jones stepping back, audiences can still enjoy the commanding voice that has become synonymous with power and fear in the Star Wars universe. It raises fascinating questions about the future of voice acting and the role of technology in storytelling. With AI blending seamlessly with the old recordings, it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, as Vader's legacy continues in new and unexpected ways, allowing his chilling presence to echo through the galaxy for years to come. Hard to believe, but the largest iceberg was the size of Jamaica. The largest iceberg ever recorded broke off from the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica in 1986. It was about 280 kilometers long and 80 kilometers wide, making its area comparable to the size of Jamaica. This gigantic iceberg was so massive, it could easily have housed entire cities. It drifted in the ocean for several years, slowly melting. Can you believe that a tick can dine for up to 10 days? Ticks are true masters of long feasts. These tiny parasites can stay latched onto their host for up to 10 days, feeding without interruption. Imagine a dinner that lasts not just a few hours, but almost an entire week. The tick literally buries itself into the feast, slowly but surely enjoying its meal. While the host may not even realize that someone is indulging in their blood, the tick is having the time of its life. These little gourmets are so adapted to slow eating that they can store nutrients and feed on them for a long time. Though it sounds unpleasant to us, for ticks, it's a gourmet experience. If there were a competition for slow eating, ticks would surely be the champions. Can you imagine that the U.S. controls 80% of global maritime trade? In fact, the U.S. is a major force in global shipping routes. 80% of world trade moves via the oceans, and surprisingly, the U.S. controls a significant portion of this traffic. In the 20th century, Americans recognized how to leverage their geographic potential to dominate the global economy. For a long time, trade routes ran through the Atlantic Ocean, but starting in the 1980s, an equal amount of goods began to be transported via the Pacific Ocean. This allowed the U.S. to expand its influence and gain an advantage in trade with Asian countries. Did you know that grizzly bears can run faster than horses? Contrary to the belief that bears are clumsy giants, they can reach speeds of over 50 kilometers per hour. That's faster than many horses. Grizzlies have not only powerful muscles, but also incredible agility, making them fearsome predators. Their speed allows them to hunt successfully and protect their territory. So if you encounter a bear in the wild, don't think you can outrun it. Better to keep a safe distance and admire its power from afar. Is it true that most dust is dead skin? Imagine that every day you shed millions of skin cells that turn into dust in your home. Dead skin cells make up a significant portion of household dust, along with clothing fibers, hair, and pollen. On average, a person loses about 200 million skin cells every hour. Of course, this doesn't sound very pleasant, but nature has designed your skin to constantly renew itself. In fact, one of the oils on your skin, squalene, helps reduce the harmful effects of ozone in the air, making your skin's microbiome a true protector of your environment. So the next time you're wiping down dust, remember, you're essentially cleaning away your yesterday cells that have already served their purpose. Amazing how the body continually renews itself and maintains balance with the environment. Brazil, the country with the greatest biodiversity. Brazil is home to 15 to 20% of all the world's biodiversity. It houses more than 120,000 species of invertebrates, about 9,000 species of vertebrates, and over 4,000 species of plants. Every year, around 700 new species of animals and plants are discovered in Brazil. This rich biodiversity is not only vital for ecology, but also holds immense potential for economic development and scientific discovery. Why has the U.S. become a leader on the global stage? After the Civil War ended in 1865, the country entered an era of industrial growth and expanding influence. By around 1900, following the annexation of Mexican territory and other successful wars, the U.S. began to dominate the Western Hemisphere. Roosevelt's corollary, which asserted the U.S. right to intervene in Latin American affairs, solidified this status. After World War II, the U.S. emerged as a world leader, allowing it to leverage military power and economic resources to influence international events. Since the 20th century, the U.S. has employed both force and diplomacy to establish its global leadership. Why do fennec foxes have such enormous ears? The fennec fox, Vulpes zerta, smallest of all canids, roams the scorching Sahara with its oversized radar-like ears, sometimes half the length of its body. These iconic ears aren't just for show. Packed with blood vessels, they radiate heat away from the body, functioning as natural air conditioners in temperatures exceeding 50 degrees. But they also serve as hypersensitive detectors. Fennecs can hear insects crawling beneath the sand and pinpoint prey like rodents or beetles from meters away. Nocturnal by nature, they rely on their exceptional hearing and padded feet to silently stalk through dunes. Their large ears are a dual-purpose miracle. Audio surveillance devices by night and cooling panels by day evolved to perfection for desert survival. In a landscape of extremes, the fennec's ears are both its shield and its sword. Is it possible that earthworms can regenerate their bodies? Yes, it's true. If an earthworm loses part of its body, it can regenerate the lost segment. However, contrary to popular myths, if you cut a worm in half, only the part with the head will survive. Regeneration in earthworms is a fascinating process, but it's not as magical as some may think. Imagine being able to regrow parts of your body as if nothing ever happened. Why does the King of Hearts in a deck of cards have no mustache? If you've ever taken a close look at a standard deck of cards, you may have noticed that the King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache. This small detail, often overlooked, makes him unique among the other kings. Depicted as clean-shaven, this little quirk adds a bit of mystery to the standard deck of cards that we all know and play with. You might be surprised by Scotland's national animal. It's the unicorn, a mythical creature that captures the imagination and embodies the spirit of the country. While most might expect a more conventional choice like the lion or the eagle, the unicorn represents purity, innocence, and power, making it a fitting symbol for Scotland's unique national identity. The connection to the unicorn dates back to the 15th century when it first appeared on the royal coat of arms. Interestingly, the unicorn is often depicted in Scottish lore as a fierce and untamed creature, a symbol of strength against oppression. Over the years, it has woven its way into Scotland's cultural tapestry, appearing in everything from art and literature to modern-day festivals celebrating Scottish heritage. The unicorn also plays a role in Celtic mythology, further enriching its significance as a symbol of magic and wonder. So next time you think of Scotland, remember it's not just bagpipes and kilts. There's a legendary creature standing proud as the national emblem. Hard to believe, but there's a flying snake in Africa. In Africa, there's a snake known as the tree glider that can move from branch to branch, almost as if it's flying. It flattens its body and uses it as a parachute, covering distances of up to 20 meters in the air. These snakes use their flight abilities to escape predators and quickly move between trees. They look like creatures from a sci-fi movie, but this is the reality of the wild, where anything is possible. Here's what lies behind the successful American education system for international students. The U.S. remains the most popular and appealing country for students from around the world. This advantageous position allows America not only to attract talent, but also to transform it into innovative forces for its economy. Technologies developed at the country's universities later become the foundation for commercialization and economic growth. This creates a powerful synergistic effect, where science, education, and business operate as a unified system capable of generating new ideas, products, and solutions, leading to the U.S.'s leadership in the global economy. What if I told you the basilisk lizard can run on water? The common basilisk, Basiliscus basiliscus, nicknamed the Jesus Christ lizard, defies gravity in short bursts. When startled, it sprints across water surfaces, using its large hind feet with fringe-like scales to slap and push against the surface tension, creating tiny air pockets that support its weight. By moving rapidly up to 20 steps per second, it keeps its body above water for up to 5 meters before sinking and swimming. Young basilisks are the best runners, escaping predators by darting across streams and rivers in a flash. This incredible feat combines speed, physics, and evolution into a natural miracle. Engineers study their foot structure and gait to develop biomimetic robots that move across liquid surfaces. With one of the most jaw-dropping evasive maneuvers in the reptile world, the basilisk proves that running on water isn't just biblical, it's biological. Why can toads live far from water? Ever wondered what makes toads different from frogs? One of the key differences is their habitat. Frogs need to stay near water because their skin requires moisture to breathe. Toads, however, have thicker skin that allows them to retain moisture and live away from water. So if you spot an amphibian in your backyard, it's more likely to be a toad than a frog. These adaptations help toads survive in drier places, making them true masters of land survival. Who would have thought that you can see sounds through light? Sounds can not only be heard but also seen. Using special equipment like oscilloscopes, scientists can visualize sound waves, turning them into light pulses. These pulses take on different shapes depending on the frequency and intensity of the sound. The sight is incredible. High frequencies appear as fast, thin lines, while low ones as slow, broad patterns. Technology allows us to see music and sounds, adding a new dimension to how we perceive them. Did you know ketchup was originally sold as medicine? In the 19th century, ketchup was considered not just a tasty condiment, but a real medicine. It was developed as a remedy for digestive problems and sold in pharmacies. Imagine going in for stomach relief and getting a bottle of ketchup. Today it seems strange as we are used to ketchup on burgers and fries, but its journey from pharmacies to kitchens was surprisingly interesting. Can you imagine that the moon is slowly drifting away from Earth? Each year, the moon moves about 3.5 centimeters farther away from Earth. This happens due to tidal interactions between the Earth and the moon. Billions of years ago, the moon was much closer, and in billions of years, it may drift out of Earth's gravitational pull altogether. Though this process is incredibly slow, scientists track it using lasers and reflectors left on the moon by the Apollo missions. Did you know the world's oldest recipe is for beer? The oldest known beer recipe dates back to around 4,000 years before our era in ancient Sumeria. This ancient beer shows how long the tradition of brewing has been preserved. Sumerians brewed beer from barley, and this process was a key part of their culture for millennia. Who would have thought that the tradition of beer is so ancient and still thriving today? What if I told you continents were once connected? Just a slim 2.4 miles or 3.8 kilometers across the Bering Strait, you can find the narrowest gap between Asia and North America. This might sound surprising, but during the last ice age, this icy stretch wasn't just water, it formed part of a land bridge called Beringia. Imagine a world where our modern continents were linked by this vast expanse of land, allowing ancient humans and wildlife to easily walk from one side to the other. This migration route teemed with life, making it a vital passage for animal species and early human ancestors. As the climate warmed and the ice melted, Beringia gradually disappeared beneath the waves, leaving behind a remarkable tale of how continents and species moved and adapted. Now what remains is a chilly expanse of water separating two incredibly diverse regions, rich in history and stories of connection. So next time you think of the Bering Strait, remember it's more than just water. It's a reminder of how connected our world once was. Why is Maine known as the Lone Ranger State? Maine is the only U.S. state that shares a border with just one other state, New Hampshire. This unique geographical feature makes Maine something of a loner among the states. If you're someone who enjoys solitude and quiet, Maine might be the perfect place for you. Known for its stunning natural landscapes, rocky coastlines, and quiet forests, Maine stands out for its geographic isolation and proud, independent spirit. You won't believe what flows in Antarctica. At the stunning Taylor Island, there's a remarkable site known as the Blood Falls, captivating all who visit. This striking waterfall is not your typical cascade of clear blue water. Instead, it pours out a deep, eerie red, reminiscent of blood, which certainly raises eyebrows and sparks curiosity. But what causes this unusual hue? The secret lies in the iron-rich water seeping out from beneath the glacier. As the salty water, which is extremely saline and acidic, flows to the surface, it oxidizes once it comes into contact with the air, transforming into that striking red color. This phenomenon is both mesmerizing and scientifically intriguing. The Blood Falls are a fantastic example of how Earth's unique conditions can create striking natural wonders. Despite its unsettling appearance, the water is a product of a complex geological process taking place beneath the icy surface, showcasing the incredible diversity of life and environments that exist even in the most extreme conditions like Antarctica. Why hasn't Ireland's population recovered 160 years after the famine? Imagine a country unable to fully recover its population for more than a century and a half. That's precisely what happened to Ireland after the Great Potato Famine of the mid-19th century. The famine, caused by crop failures, led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands and the mass emigration of millions of Irish people around the world. Even today, 160 years later, Ireland's population is still 2 million less than it was before this tragedy. This incredible demographic puzzle remains a testament to the devastating impact of those events. This one fact flips the whole story about chameleon color change. Most people think chameleons change color just for camouflage, but that's only part of the story. These lizards use color to communicate mood, temperature, and social signals. When cold, they darken to absorb heat. When hot, they pale to reflect sunlight. A male flashes bright colors to impress a mate or challenge a rival. This isn't pigment shuffling, it's nanotechnology. Tiny crystals in their skin reflect specific wavelengths of light depending on their spacing. Nerve signals alter these distances in milliseconds, giving chameleons full control of their personal color display. It's camouflage, yes, but also language, emotion, and thermoregulation rolled into one. Every color shift tells a story, making these creatures living, flashing billboards of reptilian expression. Did you know your brain is mostly fat? It may sound surprising, but the human brain is made up of about 60% fat, making it the fattest organ in your body. This isn't just an interesting fact. This high-fat content plays a vital role in how our brains work. The fat in our brains helps form cell membranes, providing the structure that keeps cells intact and functioning properly. These cell membranes act like the protective walls of a building, keeping everything safe inside. Additionally, fat helps to insulate nerve fibers, kind of like how insulation in your home keeps the heat in. This insulation speeds up the transmission of signals between different parts of the brain and throughout the nervous system, allowing for quick communication and processing of information. Imagine trying to send a text on a slower connection. It would take much longer. So next time you think about your diet or nutrition, remember that healthy fats are not just good for your body, but also essential for keeping your brains sharp and efficient. Believe it or not, squirrels remember hundreds of hidden nuts. While it might seem like random digging, squirrels possess astonishing spatial memory that allows them to relocate up to 300 food caches months after burial. They use environmental cues, like the shape of a tree, the pattern of rocks, or the slope of the land, to mentally map where each nut is buried. Their memory is not scent-based, rather it's cognitive and visual. In scientific experiments, squirrels successfully identified their own buried food even when decoys were planted nearby. What's more, they sometimes engage in deceptive caching, pretending to bury nuts while being watched, only to move the real ones later. Indigenous myths in North America often portray squirrels as cunning and resourceful, and now we know that's biologically accurate. This complex behavior not only ensures their winter survival, but also helps forests grow. Forgotten nuts often sprout into new trees, making squirrels accidental reforestation agents. Did you know that butterflies taste food with their feet? Butterflies don't use their mouths to taste their food. Instead, they have taste receptors on their feet that allow them to determine if a plant is suitable for laying eggs or feeding. When a butterfly lands on a flower or leaf, it tastes it with its feet, and if it finds the taste favorable, it will start sipping nectar. Imagine if we could taste our meals just by stepping on them. This unique sense helps butterflies find the best places to eat and lay their eggs, ensuring the survival of their species. Hard to believe, but New York has hidden subway gems. Beneath the bustling streets of New York City lies a fascinating secret: the City Hall subway station. Opened in 1904, this architectural beauty was once a busy stop on the IRT Lexington Avenue line, famous for its stunning arches and ornate tiles. However, after nearly 70 years of service, it was closed in 1945 due to the length of its platform, which couldn't accommodate the newer, longer trains. Despite its closure, City Hall Station has not been completely forgotten. On its 100-year anniversary in 2004, it briefly opened its doors for public tours, allowing lucky visitors to step back in time and appreciate its vintage charm. The station is a treasure trove of history, showcasing the city's rich transportation legacy. Today, it stands as a reminder of the subway system's evolution and the stories that lie just out of sight. So next time you ride the subway, you might want to remember that beneath your feet, there's a whole world of untold history waiting to be rediscovered. How would you react if you learned that London is a city with a history spanning nearly 2,000 years? Founded by the Romans in 43 AD, it was originally called Londinium. Over time, its name changed and it became a hub of global culture and economy. London was the first city to have an underground railway and even the first to open a hot chocolate shop. Today, nearly 9 million people live in London, speaking over 300 languages. Have you ever wondered why meerkats post lookouts? In the scorching deserts of southern Africa, meerkats thrive through exceptional teamwork. One of their most striking behaviors is the use of sentinels, individuals that stand guard while others forage. From elevated perches like rocks or termite mounds, the sentry scans for threats. Predators such as jackals, snakes, or hawks. If danger approaches, the lookout emits specific alarm calls that vary in pitch and rhythm, depending on the type and urgency of the threat. These alarm signals prompt the rest of the group to dive into burrows or freeze in place. Roles rotate every 10-15 minutes to prevent fatigue and ensure fairness. This system is so precise it has been likened to a military watch shift. In San folklore, meerkats are symbols of vigilance and community, embodying survival through unity. Their complex social structure rivals that of primates and offers profound insight into cooperative evolution. Did you know the ancient Inca city could withstand earthquakes? Machu Picchu, the famous Inca city, was built using an ingenious technology that allowed it to withstand earthquakes. Located in a highly seismic zone, the Incas used a technique called ashlar masonry, where stones were so precisely cut that they fit together without mortar. During an earthquake, the stones could move slightly and then return to their original positions, keeping the structures intact. This brilliant engineering made the Incas true masters of ancient architecture. Can you imagine a world where dads give birth? Seahorses live it. In the underwater realm of seahorses, traditional gender roles are flipped. It's the male that becomes pregnant. After a graceful mating dance, the female deposits eggs into the male's brood pouch, a specialized chamber on his abdomen. The male fertilizes the eggs and incubates them for weeks, regulating temperature, oxygen flow, and salinity. During this time, he nourishes the embryos, protects them from predators, and even contracts in labor to release the fully formed young into the ocean. This is the only known case of true male pregnancy in the animal kingdom. Ancient Asian cultures viewed seahorses as symbols of protection and good fortune, perhaps drawn to their unusual parenting habits. Biologists continue to study this rare adaptation for insights into reproductive biology and evolutionary diversity. In the world of seahorses, fatherhood takes on a whole new level of commitment. The secret of the Great Wall of China? Sticky rice. The Great Wall of China is one of the most impressive structures in the world. But did you know that its durability is thanks to sticky rice? Ancient builders used a mortar mixture containing this rice to bind the stones together. This unexpected culinary ingredient played a key role in strengthening one of the world's greatest wonders. It's amazing to think that something as simple as a kitchen ingredient helped build such a monumental structure. Turns out Che Guevara was a medical student. Before becoming one of the most influential figures in revolutionary history, Ernesto Che Guevara was studying medicine in Buenos Aires. In his youth, he was filled with a desire to help people, and his medical knowledge later helped him as he became a symbol of the fight for freedom. Who would have thought that a medical student would one day become an icon of world revolution? His drive for justice manifested even in his pursuit to heal people, whether physically or politically. What if everything you knew about Greenland was marketing? When Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland in the late 10th century for committing murder, he sailed west and discovered a vast icy island. Knowing settlers wouldn't be excited by endless snow, he named it Greenland, to make it sound lush and appealing. This wasn't a mistake, but a calculated piece of Viking-era real estate branding. The southern tip of Greenland, where he landed, does have green valleys in summer, but over 80% of the island is covered by a massive ice sheet. Still, the name sparked curiosity and drew colonists across the sea. It worked so well that Norse settlements thrived there for centuries. The name outlived the colonies, embedding itself in maps and minds worldwide. In truth, Greenland's name is more fantasy than fact, proof that words can reshape perception just as powerfully as swords or sails. The secret of the creosote bush's longevity. In the Mojave Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, a creosote bush over 11,000 years old still grows. It's the oldest living thing on Earth, having survived entire civilizations. It grows in a ring shape, with each new sprout slowly replacing the older ones, creating an unbroken connection to past generations. Thanks to its incredible ability to survive in extreme conditions, this bush has become a symbol of resilience and longevity. The creosote bush reminds us that nature can withstand almost anything if left undisturbed. The inventor of the Super Soaker water gun worked for NASA. Who would have thought that Lonnie Johnson, the creator of the famous Super Soaker water gun, was an engineer at NASA? Johnson worked on developing advanced technologies for space missions, such as the Galileo project to Jupiter. But in his spare time, he developed toys, and one of his ideas became a global hit. The Super Soaker became an iconic water gun that kids around the world played with. This example shows that innovation can come from the most unexpected places, and an engineer's genius can create not only space technology, but also unforgettable childhood moments. Kiwi, the bird that can't fly but rules New Zealand. The kiwi bird is not just a national symbol of New Zealand, it's a true star. Despite having wings, the kiwi can't fly, but that doesn't stop it from being an icon of its country. These small birds are known for their unique appearance and habits. They are nocturnal and use their keen sense of smell to find food. The kiwi is so important to New Zealand that the locals call themselves Kiwi. This proves that even the smallest and most unusual bird can become the symbol of an entire nation. Peanuts aren't nuts, they're legumes. You might be surprised to learn that, botanically speaking, peanuts aren't actually nuts. Peanuts belong to the legume family, like peas, beans, and lentils. Unlike true nuts, such as walnuts and almonds, peanuts grow underground and don't have a hard shell enclosing a single seed. A nut, in botanical terms, is a dry fruit with a hard shell, but peanuts don't fit that definition. Even though we often think of them as nuts, they're technically closer to peas and beans, but with a unique taste all their own. Can you imagine that some flowers eat mice? This isn't science fiction, it's reality. There are carnivorous plants, such as the nepenthes or pitcher plants, that can trap and digest not only insects but also small animals like mice. These plants secrete sweet nectar to lure their prey, and once the animal falls into the pitcher, it can't escape. The plant world is far more cunning and mysterious than it seems. What was the real reason behind the emergence of the first coins? The first coins appeared around the 7th century BC and were primarily made of silver and gold. The value of a coin was directly related to the value of the metal it was made from, which determined its purchasing power. The introduction of coins was a significant step in the development of the economy as they simplified exchange processes and allowed for the formation of more complex systems of trade and wealth accumulation. Thumbs have their own pulse. Have you ever wondered why people check their pulse using their index and middle fingers instead of their thumbs? It's because your thumb has its own pulse. Each thumb is supplied with blood by the radial artery, which runs along the wrist on the thumb side. This artery is so strong that you can feel its pulse when you touch it. That's why it's recommended to avoid using your thumb when taking a pulse, to prevent mixing up its pulse with your actual heartbeat. Now you know that even your thumb has its own little heartbeat. Did you know banana plants can walk? Banana plants may seem immobile, but in reality, they can move. Of course, it's not the kind of walk we're used to, but banana plants do actually shift. Over their lifetime, they can move up to 40 centimeters, stretching their roots toward the sun. This movement is so slow that you can't see it with the naked eye, but if you could speed up time, you'd see the banana plant walking toward a sunnier spot to soak up more light. True sun lovers. Is it possible that your electronic devices are listening to you? Modern smartphones and smart speakers, such as Alexa and Google Home, can indeed eavesdrop on conversations. Built-in microphones activate when the devices recognize a wake word to turn on. Although companies claim that such data is not saved, many users find that advertisements match their recent conversations, even if they haven't searched for it online. Did you know the first mobile call changed everything? On April 3, 1973, history was made in New York City when Martin Cooper, an engineer at Motorola, made the very first handheld mobile phone call. Imagine a moment where a bulky, suitcase-like contraption evolved into the sleek smartphones we carry today. Cooper called his rival at Bell Labs, and as he spoke into the very first mobile phone, weighing over 2 pounds, it marked a pivotal shift in how we connect with one another. At that time, people relied heavily on landlines and payphones, so the idea of making a call on the go was revolutionary. This innovative technology came with its challenges, limited battery life and oversized devices, but it sparked an explosion of advancements in communication. Fast forward to today, and we can't imagine life without our smartphones, filled with apps, internet access, and instant messaging. That simple call didn't just change one person's day, it set the stage for an entire industry and forever altered the way we interact with the world around us. Who would have guessed that call would lead us to wireless everything? Believe it or not, the FBI had a Bigfoot file. In the 1970s, the FBI opened a real investigation into Bigfoot. Yes, the mythical ape-like creature of North American folklore. They received over 20,000 letters from citizens submitting hair samples, footprints, and blurry photos. One sample, sent by a cryptozoologist from the Pacific Northwest, prompted the FBI to conduct actual lab tests. Though the hair turned out to belong to a deer, the case was filed officially under cryptid reports and stored alongside UFO dossiers. The documents, declassified decades later, show how the agency took public concern seriously, even when it leaned toward the extraordinary. While Bigfoot remains elusive, his case file lives on as a quirky chapter in American science and skepticism. Sometimes, even the most rational institutions indulge in a little monster hunting. Why is Socotra so unique? Located off the coast of Yemen, Socotra is one of the most isolated and distinctive places on the planet. This island is renowned for its incredible plants that cannot be found anywhere else in the world, such as the famous dragon blood tree, with its unusual shape and red sap. About 1/3 of its flora is endemic, and the island's ecosystem remains largely unexplored. Socotra resembles an almost alien world with its rich biodiversity, despite its remoteness and inaccessibility. Is it really possible that Halong Bay is one of the most mystical places on the planet? Halong Bay in Vietnam is a true natural wonder. Thousands of islets immersed in green waters create the impression of a mystical world where reality blends with myth. The limestone formations rising from the ocean make this bay incredibly beautiful and mysterious. This place attracts tourists with its mystical charm and is perfect for those seeking solitude amidst natural beauty. Believe it or not, Angel Falls is the highest waterfall on Earth. Located in Venezuela, it has a height of 979 meters, making it the tallest drop of water in the world. Unlike other waterfalls, the water evaporates into the air before reaching the ground, creating a misty cloud effect. This natural phenomenon makes the falls unique, and their incredible height and beauty attract travelers from all over the globe. Did you know the Nile is the longest river in the world? The Nile River, which stretches approximately 6,650 kilometers, passes through 11 countries in northeastern Africa. These countries, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda, depend on the Nile for their economies, cultures, and ecosystems. The Nile is not only a lifeline for millions of people, but also a witness to ancient history spanning millennia. Have you ever wondered what the Meteora in Greece hides in its history of fighting against invaders? Meteora consists of unique monasteries perched on high cliffs in Greece. They were built in the Middle Ages by monks who used this inaccessible and protected area as a refuge from Turkish invaders. To reach the monasteries, the monks had to create ladders and special ropes, and until 100 years ago, the only access was via rope ladders. Today, travelers can ascend via a cable car or treacherous stairs, yet they still feel the grandeur and historical power of this place. The story of ink saving. How a period saved a newspaper thousands of dollars. How important do you think a tiny change in logo design could be? In 1967, the New York Times decided to remove the period at the end of its name. This decision wasn't driven by aesthetics, but by savings. The newspaper calculated that dropping the period could save them a significant amount of ink, around $600 a year, which today equals approximately $6,000. While such an amount may seem insignificant at first for publishers, it became an example of how even the smallest changes can lead to substantial resource savings. Imagine how one small decision could impact the budget of an entire company. Why has Antelope Canyon become a true mecca for photographers? Antelope Canyon in Arizona is one of the most visited and photographed natural sites in the United States. This narrow slot canyon features stunning light effects and shadow play, attracting travelers and professional photographers from around the world. The canyon boasts a pronounced wavy structure and extraordinary colors that shift depending on the time of day and the angle of light. Accessing the canyon requires a special permit, as it is located on Native American land. Superfetation. Is it possible to get pregnant while already pregnant? Could this really be true? It turns out, yes. Superfetation is a rare medical phenomenon in which a woman can get pregnant while already being pregnant. This occurs when ovulation continues even after conception, which typically doesn't happen as the body halts the ovulation cycle after pregnancy begins. As a result of this rare condition, a woman can carry 2 embryos of different ages simultaneously. Though extremely rare in humans, this phenomenon occurs more frequently in the animal kingdom, especially in certain species of fish and mammals. It's amazing but true. The human body is full of surprises, and sometimes nature can break its own rules. Here's what lies behind the Azores. Magical nature and unique geography. Located in the North Atlantic, the Azores are renowned for their volcanic landscapes, lush valleys, and geysers. These islands are unique as they sit at the border of two tectonic plates, giving them not only distinct geography, but also active volcanic features. The Azores are not just a destination for nature lovers, but also for those interested in extraordinary natural processes. Did you know that the resolution of the human eye surpasses any camera? Our eyes can distinguish up to 10 million shades of color with such incredible clarity that no modern camera can compare. Imagine this. The human eye has a resolution of 576 megapixels. This is far beyond even the best photographic technologies available today. We all love high-resolution screens, but we often forget that our own eyes already provide us with the perfect visual experience. And the best part, it's completely free.